and it was 9 inches long, and it needed 2 hands. It was about that thick. So it wasn't going anywhere. It wouldn't even go in there because I've got a small mouth. So I licked it like a lollipop.
Meet me after slashing your wrist, or at the end if you so insist. I'm persistent when told to cease and desist with this blasphemous shit.
Hello, Chalet. Yo, what do you feel about getting older? More specifically, what do you think about being freaky when you're older? Personally, I don't know. Like, I can't imagine ever not wanting sex, but obviously with my younger eyes, I find it hard to visualize how that desire would still be there. I don't know. But we're gonna have a little lesson because at the taboo room, this popped up on my timeline. I don't know if that says anything about me. It was on my timeline. But they've dropped a video called Caroline, the 68-year-old sex worker. Bow! Yes. Yes. Go get it, man. And she's not at retirement age yet, is she? What is it? Oh, no. Men's 70, innit? Pissed. Well, hard working, innit?
What's the largest penis you've ever seen?
The largest penis was a black guy. It was a swinger, and I'd seen it on his profile and said, "I'm sorry, darling, but that's not going to go anywhere." And he said, "That's okay, I'd still like to meet you." So he came over, and it was 9 inches long, and it needed 2 hands. It was about that thick. So it wasn't going anywhere. It wouldn't even go in there because I've got a small mouth. So I licked it like a lollipop.
You're right there, Caroline. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Let's start off. Did you have both parents growing up?
No. My dad basically buggered off when I was about 2. And so my mum brought 4 of us.
Buggered off. Bless her. Janet might be coming out. I might bring one of my snakes out.
4 of us up on our own.
How would you describe your childhood?
Interesting. I think compared with some people, it was probably okay, not bad. When you're in it, it was pretty shit, really. Mum had mental health issues and physical issues as well. So sometimes we were fostered out to families. Sometimes we would have somebody come and look after us while she was either in the mental hospital or in the actual physical hospital. And she was manic depressive was how it was diagnosed eventually. And she would either be very low and depressed or very high and...
Bro. I just clocked her top. Get it, miss. I've got a lot of respect for this lady, man.
You know, a bit like when you're on drugs. You're either high or you're low. And she was like that. So we got by.
Fair enough. What was your education like?
Getting pretty shit. Let's just say I didn't... I was bullied at school by a teacher, would you believe, rather than pupils. Which most people find surprising these days because it's usually the other kids that bully you. It was one of the teachers who didn't like my brother, who was in the year before me, and she decided to take it out on me when I got to her class. And I think I developed fairly early on a resilience to bullies and other not very nice people in authority. So I gave as good as I got, and ended up in trouble, ended up in the headmaster's office quite a few times, got threatened with being expelled by the local priest because I was a Catholic. We were brought up Catholic, so yeah, it was eventful. So I did miss quite a bit of school. Basically came out of school with a couple of, in those days, were CSEs, even before GCSEs. And yeah, that was it really.
Any children or husbands, any marriages or any relationships?
No, I did get pregnant once when I was about 18, but I had a miscarriage, thankfully. Would have to say, because the person that I got pregnant with, I did not want a future with, so
Best of all parties.
it was the best result really.
So after your childhood and your education, what did you do next?
Well, when I suppose 17, I left school at 16. Then you could leave school at 16. I got involved with a group of travellers, gypsies, whatever you want to call them. And it was one of those that had got me pregnant. Got involved with them. They turned out to be not very nice. Ended up with a couple of other girls getting taken to a woods to getting gang raped by 6 of them. And basically they would take one of us into the woods, all have sex, drag us back and take the next one in.
So what happened then, Caroline? What was the logistics? So you were just pulled away?
Yeah, so we were just driven to this place, and as I say, each girl was taken one by one, and we're out in the middle of nowhere.
I'm not casting aspersions against the whole traveller community, but when she said gypsies, that word was a trigger that I remember being and gypsies they weren't to be fucked with. Like real, they would just pull up. They pulled up at in the estate I lived. There was like a bench playground, and behind it was a bit of wasteland, a random bit of wasteland. And they pulled up there a couple times. I don't know if it was the same lot. It probably was the same lot, but they pulled up there a couple times growing up, and each time it was wild. Like we was probably edgy as well, but a friend of mine was raped by one of them, by a couple of them actually, and it was the same thing. She thought they was cool at first. Boys were bad. I kind of still remember his face, the main one, but yeah, I just remember that. But that's not to say all gypsies. That's just back in the day. Maybe they played on the reputation he had as well. I don't know, combination everything, but coincidentally, same sort of shit.
We're out in the middle of nowhere, so you couldn't do a lot, could you? Couldn't run for it or anything. Wouldn't be a lot of point. And so yeah, and then we were taken back. I don't even remember where we were taken back to, but basically dumped, and that was it. Then there was another occasion when they would come round to my bedsit, and there'd be about 6 of them, and they would have knives, and they would do target practice on the window frames, because they were wooden frames and doors, you know, which was, when you're only 17, a little bit scary, to say the least. So, not a good time, really. And then I found out I was pregnant, but then I met a Christian outside a bingo hall, and they invited me to the local church, and I went along to the church, and I became a Christian. And I got thrown out for my bedsit by the landlady and moved in with the pastor and his wife. I then had the miscarriage, and I lived with them for a while, and then I moved in with another girl from the church, and that's where life changed. And you know, I got very involved in the church. Another friend of mine took her own life, committed suicide, which was pretty devastating, I have to say. That was a complete shock, and I didn't find out until I went to work. I was working in Sainsbury's at the time, and I only found out when I went into work, and somebody there said, "Oh, it's a shame about Mary, isn't it?" And I went, "What?" And they said, "Oh, she committed suicide on Tuesday while I was at the Bible study." She was only 18, you know.
What she just said there, I think it, and whenever I've heard someone who's lost someone to suicide, I've heard them say that exact same thing. You note where you was when it happened. It must obviously be an inner guilt thing, like, but it's almost like, it's almost one of the first things to say. It's weird, it's weird.
There you go.
Let's move on to your current life, Caroline. Yeah, so your line of work?
Is an escort. Well, I'm a florist by day and a porn star by night, intermingled with being an escort.
Gangster.
How did you get into such a line of work?
Into the escorting was actually through swinging. I had joined a swinging site 12 years ago, maybe, 12 years ago. And through that, there was a photographer who got me involved in doing porn movies. And then a couple of the guys that I met had said, "You should do escorting, you'd be good at it." And almost got into it with one guy. He said he'd help set it up, but it just, circumstances didn't. A few years went by, and then I saw a programme on the television called My Granny the Escort. And one lady was 85, living in sheltered accommodation, and I'm thinking, wow, well, if she can do it, so can I.
My God, she's such a G. Life is never over. She said all this journey began at 56. And the escorting didn't come straight away. She started swinging at 56. Gangster. Gangster. It was shit at the start, but fuck it. She's gonna make it good at the end. Credit to her, man.
And I had a mortgage to pay, and I was desperate for money, so I thought, why not? And it didn't look like the seedy image that you can get from escorting, and so I thought, let's give it a go, and here we are.
Sorry, this is random, but what she just described there essentially is what fucking, it feels like what Americans think happens when a gay person is on the screen and a child is watching the fucking screen. Like, I know what she's saying. I think it was a Channel 4 program or something, and it was just like normal people, and they happened to be doing that kind of shit, and it was attempting to show, it wasn't trying to make it seedy, it was attempting to show that these are just normal people. Do you get what I mean? So the settings were normal in their houses or various places, so I get what she's saying. But obviously, this is a lifestyle choice. Swinging is a lifestyle choice. Being gay is not a lifestyle choice. But they think this. I don't have an answer for that. Trust me, neither do I. But for some reason, they think the visuals or a teacher mentioning or telling the class, "I am gay," or the kiss in Buzz Lightyear, that kind of shit is gonna turn someone gay. When you understand that, you understand how certain people got voted into power. Sorry, I love America, but they are so funny.
Here we are, 4 years later.
What has been a sex worker or an escort taught you about men?
That there's all different kinds. You never know what is it behind the face of any person, man or woman. You don't know what their life is. You don't know what fantasies they have. They might look like a perfectly respectable businessman and have the weirdest fantasies on the planet. Or they might look a bit odd and be perfectly normal and just want a blowjob. So,
What's the strangest request you've had?
sucking a dog off, I would say, is fairly high up there. Yeah. I mean, I never did it, I hasten to add. But yes, I had somebody that messaged me and said, he would give me £1,000, first of all, to wank the dog. And then he asked me how much it would be to suck the dog off. And I said, there's no amount of money that you could pay me to suck him off.
What are your rates?
Wait. I might just have lost a little tiny fraction of respect for her. I don't know if that was accidental or what, but she made it sound that she would have been willing or agreed to. She just weren't prepared to. Yo, £1,000. Me not judge nothing. Would you?
It's 120 an hour, £75 for half an hour, and £50 for a 15-minute quickie. Or £600 for an overnight.
What's the scariest experience you've had while working?
The scariest? I don't think I've had any scary ones as an escort.
Let me rephrase, what was the worst experience you've had?
The worst, yes. Well, the most unpleasant was a man in his 70s who wanted me to lick his balls, which was covered in grey curly whirlies. Now, I'm quite happy sucking a ball, but it needs to be shaved. And he insisted that I carry on doing it for about half an hour, which I have to say was the grossest thing that I've ever done.
What's the best experience you've had while doing sex?
Oh.
Apart from apart from the obvious, what I said at the start, she kind of just confirmed it for me. You are still gonna see them as an old person. Yo.
The best, whilst I've been doing it, probably the guy where he was so sexy that I came all over his cock. Completely soaked him whilst doing cowgirl.
That happened before that?
No, it never happened before. No, so that was the first. And to do it with a gorgeous man was yeah, pretty good.
Did he get a discount?
As well, what other strange requests would you say you've had?
How did they not ask?
Well, there was one where this businessman asked me if I would wear one of his mother's nighties. And he wore another one of his mother's nighties. I hasten to add, his mother was dead. And he had kept all her nighties. and now use them in his fantasies. So I was to come into the bedroom and find him in one of her nighties, watching my porn.
As well, let's touch on that as well. So you're a porn star.
Absolutely.
How did you get into that? Was it?
That was through the swinging as well. A photographer contacted me and said, would the lady be interested in doing some solo filming work? So I met him and we did our first shoot for mature.nl, and basically I just lay on the bed, undressed, played with myself, used toys, obviously all in my sexy underwear. And then we did another and another. Then he found a black guy who had a very large cock, which was not going to go anywhere, but we did a blowjob. So I gave him a blowjob and he shot his load all over my tits. And it was a couple of those. And then there was another black guy who didn't have a truncheon, had a fairly average sized cock, so that fitted. And so we had a good shag. And I've made lots of little clips now, which, all you lovely guys enjoy wanking over. Which gives me a lot of pleasure as much as it does you, thinking about the thousands of men wanking over me on a daily basis.
Have you ever had any couples or women approach you?
Well, actually, on this, I'm just thinking back to the swinging. There was a couple who wanted to come and play, and we made up a foursome. But I'm not bi, so I'm not interested in playing with a woman. I did let her lick my pussy, and I did let her play with my tits, but I just don't have any desire whatsoever to lick a pussy. I'm very happy sucking cocks, but licking pussies is really not my thing. It either is or it isn't, and it's like a lot of men aren't bi. I love bi men. I've got lots of bi men, and they come round for a bi gang, and I like watching them suck each other, fuck each other.
She's got a harem of guys.
Sometimes I use my toys. I fuck them with my toys, and we just have a good time.
What's the largest penis you've ever seen?
The largest penis was a black guy. It was a swinger, and I'd seen it on his profile and said, "I'm sorry, darling, but that's not going to go anywhere." And he said, "That's okay. I'd still like to meet you." So he came over, and it was 9 inches long. And it needed 2 hands. It was about that thick. So it wasn't going anywhere. It wouldn't even go in there because I've got a small mouth. So I licked it like a lollipop. He went down on me, which was absolutely delightful. And he used my toy on me, my wand, so I got lots of orgasms. And then he came on my tits. So.
How long do you reckon you'll be doing sex work for?
I'd say... probably say as long as I enjoy it. I told Jeremy Kyle when he asked me, he said, "How long are you going to keep doing this?" And I said, "Until I'm on my deathbed, or 100, whichever comes first." Because I enjoy it, and there's a tombstone on Twitter which says, when they asked me what would I like to have on my gravestone, and I said, "She shagged until the very end." Good for her.
I love that she's so proud of
Before
herself.
we finish off, is there anything else that you'd like to say?
Watch her promote something.
No, well, basically, just if this could remove the taboo about escorting. I mean, there's the seedier side of the prostitution with the girls on the street and the pimps and etc. But actually, there's a lot of normal ladies like me who do it to earn money, to pay a mortgage, who live a normal life, me as a florist, and you just earn the money, you meet lots of lovely people, and you're providing a service. So it's really to... and inspire people that you can have a shit life like I did, and then I had therapy so you can, get over all of that shit, and you can, live a normal life. Unusual, but normal. and be happy in what you do.
It's been a pleasure to meet you.
And you.
That was amazing. There's just so much happening up there. I don't know what I'm processing. I don't even know if I'm processing anything. I think she had me when she said I'm a florist. I don't. I think that was it. From that point, she is hilarious. I've got so much respect for her, man. Bust that. And she's playing catch up. That's wicked. Fuck it, man. And she's got no kids to be embarrassed. And she genuinely, like, you know, when you see interviews and you know certain people are surviving, or they're at the beginning of the journey and life ain't really hit them much yet, and you're worried that something's gonna happen in the future. Do you get what I mean? Like, but with her, she looked content, bruv. Like, you couldn't argue with her. Like, even when the guy asked about negative things, she didn't just answer no. Obviously, that could be a lie, but it was the shock on her face when he asked the question. It hadn't registered. So I believe nothing bad has happened. Do you know what I mean? And touch wood for her, but gangster. Obviously, everything changes if it's a relation, but we're not even gonna imagine that. Stop. She's just echoing. She's saying, no, I can't even. I need to watch some depressing shit to get this out of my fucking head. Anyway, what the fuck was that? See, I'm disorientated. Till the next time, man. Press the like button and subscribe and share and all of them things. I'm still like baby in this thing, like 500. Come on, gotta get to the 1K, and then I'm gonna hold my track. She's looking bigger. Next time.